And we're live.
Mang and Neads show. Sonic Gardens Radio live. The Mang and Neads show, Friday edition. How are you? What's the date? Friday, May 15th. Mang and Neads show. Let's go. The Mang and Neads show. Sonic Garden.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Mang and Neads show live on Sonic Gardens Radio.
61?
61 days we've been bringing this show to you. This one's going to be a little shorter today, we talked about.
Oh, short dog,
but we're keeping it going. We've been doing a lot of work pre-show, just getting ready and upgrading some of the setup cameras for the Sleeping Lion. So we'll be ready for the next guest to come in. Intro song, did this one myself, doing High and Dry by Radiohead.
The Head Radio.
There, oh look at that. Feel a little
What are we looking at?
Oh, looking at your beautiful face now. But I had I just all of a sudden had my picture. There was like my picture in the back, and then I was like the guy, and then we're playing the song. So it's kind of feeling a little self-conscious.
Don't leave them high and dry.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the tune, man. I was bringing it down though. I already had it down on the other end a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. So what's the latest, man?
Great day in America, right?
Looks like it. You were outside. You got some sun.
Yeah, bright red. All rutted up.
Yeah. I didn't really much.
You didn't what? Really? Stayed inside, huh?
No, I mean, I got out a little bit, but I didn't get out as much as I wanted to.
Unbelievable.
I guess that's what I would say.
Oh.
I wanted to mow the lawn, actually, and I didn't do it.
Huh.
So maybe I'll do that when I guess not tonight.
No, not tonight. Tomorrow there's a day.
Is it going to be better tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be beautiful. Don't you have a son tomorrow, or a son that you can have mowing?
Yeah, no, actually, that's his job. So when he gets, but he
don't do his job, so you got to do it.
Yeah, he's been with his mom, so he kind of got out of it.
Wonder how that is.
Yeah, man,
it's gonna be beautiful. I think. Well, 67 tomorrow or something.
That's beautiful. Today was 81. 81 I saw in my car anyway.
Really?
The reading.
That's
but,
what
you never know.
Oh yeah.
Never know how accurate that is, I guess, right?
Right.
Moments like that.
Yeah, you do never know.
Yeah. So what do we got? We got
67 degrees tomorrow. 20% chance of rain.
We had a tree down.
Oh yeah, because we got a heavy rain coming in right now. Wind has been blowing like a son of a bitch. Yeah. 9 miles an hour right now it is. It's raining. 64 out currently, as you can see. Too bad we didn't have a live shot of the rain coming off the roof out back. Holy shit. It was like a fucking cow pissing on a flat rock. Fuck.
Cow pissing on a flat rock.
Coming down out there.
Yeah. Splashing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Never been pissed on by a cow.
They blast it.
Oh yeah. Oh, super piss.
They're not shy at all.
No. Nope. So we have a
we got a video
reporter. We got our top reporter.
Yeah.
Field reporter.
We recruited
Uncle Jeff is out in Irville, and they have a tree down.
I did.
I'm
gonna pull it up. I'm gonna put it on the main screen up here, right next to you. How about that?
All right, Uncle Jeff making his first field report of the year for us.
No. Huge error.
Oh, we had a big error, folks.
Well, what it was is that I disconnected the screen from the MacBook so I could hook up that new camera out there because I was missing that one cable.
Oh.
So yeah, I just need that power cable off there, and then I'll be able to play that. Here, talk for just a second. And I'll take care of it.
Go ahead and get it.
What else we got? Because we got a Johnny video.
Oh, we have the John Camp video, fresh off his Bender out there at the camp.
Bender.
He's out there. We tried to give the great what do we call him? What do we call him these days? We tried to give him a call, but he didn't answer. He was probably I don't know what the fuck he does, so I don't think he was probably doing anything. I think sometimes he thinks that he is doing things when he's not doing things. Yeah. And then he does what he has to do at the last second. But he didn't answer. So we got
And we're back, folks.
Uncle Jeff waiting in the rain up there. He's on his porch, I think. He's got a sun porch. So we haven't heard from we haven't had JB walk in a few days. Wonder how he's doing. Anybody heard from him? Is his internet working? What?
There's a
What happened?
there's a loop going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's interesting.
What kind of loop? Like a loop-de-loop or a...
It's right when I plug that
Oh,
audio in.
really?
I think the microphone on my MacBook is picking us up.
Oh, that's
Something.
cool.
No, it's not really cool.
Oh, you don't really... Not enjoying that, huh? Not really enjoyable. The mAng and Neads show. No one's talking to me today. Angie's fixing some shit. So we can show you the John Camp. He's out there building his shed, his she shed. And he's been giving us daily updates. Except for yesterday, we blew by him because we were so interested in the lay down piss from the day before. So now, we're going to, shortly here, we're going to bring John. And he's going to tell us about
Let's see.
putting holes in the... What do you got? There he is, everybody. Angela.
I am gonna try this. We do have a big loop going on, and I don't know if it's going out to the system.
Oh.
But it might.
All right.
Meanwhile, let's see what Jeff's got to say.
All right. And we're off.
And we got nothing.
We are up in Irville with a tree. We got nothing, he says. Well, I got something right here for you folks. And we're going to take a walk down the good old path of America and the world.
Is that better?
And the world.
Nice. It automatically
All right.
doubling up that audio.
Well,
so I think we got this thing fixed here.
There are now 4,617,840 corona cases in the whole world. 308,013 people have died. So, you ask yourself, is this my home?
That's true.
America.
This happened.
Do you know that USA had 24,000 new cases today?
Today. That's what I'm saying. There's not.
Angela, 1,488.
All right, so listen to what.
Ange, what do you got?
We've been saying since we did this, 60 days ago, we always talked about this flattening the curve.
60 days in a row.
And the idea of flattening the curve, like we always said, is that
Day 61.
they really don't think that they're going to be able to not, like that it's not going to infiltrate a majority of the people. Like
Right.
one out of every two people is going to
You
get
don't want
this.
to get it, man.
So when you get
10 years off your life if you're
better
a male.
off if the hospital is prepared for the circumstances. And then somebody else made a case about how ventilators, only 88% of the people or 88% of the people on the ventilators die.
Well,
but that goes to show that, because that's always been the case, that if you get to the point where you have to be put on a ventilator, your chances rapidly decrease of coming off of that ventilator. And the longer you're on it, the less likely as well. So there's just those couple things. And the whole idea of, basically just because we missed this wave or whatever, the cases are going to continue. It just means that the curve has been lowered to that maintainable point at as far as right now, at least, in certain places.
88,400 total deaths in the USA. America.
We're going to try this video again.
All right, folks. We're going to the video. Down there in Irville.
This is
Uncle Jeff.
Oh, my Lord.
Well,
this one's too hot, man. They don't want us to play it. Here we go.
Oh, here we are, folks. Let's go full footage. Take an alternate route.
Trees, front of the property I'm at. Just is covering the whole road. This guy's barreling up, think he's going someplace. What the hell, dude? Figure it out.
We got the guy out pulling the tree out of the road.
Is your screen on, the one that you can see? We always forget to put that on.
Wow. But is he pulling the tree out of the way?
There's a guy pulling the tree right now.
There you go,
Couple guys.
Dave Burrell. Dave Burrell and a few other guys out there.
Just putting in work. They don't matter where it is. Right in the rain, too.
Just another day in the world. Another day in the Dave world. Yeah, everybody come through now.
Yeah. No more alternate route.
Nice job,
driving
David.
over huge twigs and sticks.
Oh,
that
look
are
at the
popping
tree.
their
There it
tires
is.
and shit.
Or what?
All right.
That was a good one.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad for his first report for us.
We just got that's a little extra Facebook piece on there.
Yeah.
That's good.
A little something extra. Tell me more.
Tell me more. Yeah, I mean, that was
you can sing to me.
we
if you
definitely
want.
got to get Jeff's got to work on his camera work, good reporting.
Yeah,
good,
very good.
You know.
He actually threw a couple digs in there. It's like a Needham tree, I guess. Wow.
Just another day in the life
Yeah.
of a Needham.
Of a fucking Needham. Fucking A.
And what else? So we also have a clip of Johnny.
Johnny,
I
yeah.
believe. We're gonna run right through and.
Yeah, he's got somebody tied up in a
up.
ditch out there with some cinder blocks in it. He's gonna tell you differently, but oh man, I guess he was. I don't know what he was doing. You got him?
Oh man.
What the fuck now? What have we got going on?
I'm sorry.
What?
Well, I had it all prepared, like I said.
What'd you do? Erase it?
Something
Yeah.
where that download was. I think I just closed out the internet and then it shut down the pages that I had all prepared.
Christ, got a lot.
But hey, don't worry about it, man. I got this.
We got a lot
No,
going
that's
on
not
in
it.
that room. We haven't had a successful pull up yet.
Not in our 61 days, we haven't had a successful.
I lost everything. God damn it.
That's what you get, man.
Can't fucking
That's
hear.
what you get.
I
That's what
lost
you
the
get for
goddamn-
being a jerk up there.
I dropped the fucking thing. Now I'm back. You hear me?
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm
I just
doing.
really missed you, man. That was
I dropped the fucking.
terrible couple seconds there.
I dropped the goddamn fucking. Where the son of a bitch goes into the motherfucker. The goddamn came apart and fell to the floor, but it didn't go out. But I lost all hearing.
All right, here we go. Coming in hot.
All right. This is little Johnny.
And
we're waiting for him.
Going for the big picture.
He's going to take over the whole screen with his dinosaur teeth.
Yesterday we got a lot of work done. Got these trenches dug.
Who the fuck
so I can
is
start forming up the piers for the rest of the cabin. The front piers down here are all good. Just need to be probably one more course of blocks, and we're going to cement the top layers. We got bars that are going down into the secured lower layers that are stacked inside the tamped down crusher run, so they're going to go nowhere.
Fucking thing will fall down in 2 years.
Hopefully we'll get this thing cooking this week.
You're gonna have
cooking with gas a little bit here. I got over here, got my stone steps that I made. Thinking about putting a little walkway across the front of the cabin over to here. Eventually, maybe
get out of the fucking wind.
Here and see where all the water goes. But other than that, I mean, we're doing all right here. We got some lights hung up and stuff, you know, make it festive at night.
This guy, he's like he doesn't have anything built yet, and he's decorating shit.
Work, man. It's not anything I'm out here killing myself doing, and
Johnny,
I'm actually enjoying myself, taking my time. Every once in a while, I'll
fucking
pop a bottle of wine or something. I keep forgetting to grab beer when I go to get gas.
Yeah, right. That's a lie.
That does, you know, I don't need to go into the store. I've been trying to avoid all that shit. So
beer.
I've started a home brewery, and
what the fuck, Johnny?
2 weeks I'll have my own beer, and we'll try that out.
Home
see how
brewery.
that goes. And other than that, you know, we're all out here doing our part. It's gonna people that love the outdoors and love this type of shit.
He likes the backwoods.
You can just get out and go and keep going, and nobody bothers you. And you know, especially this time off from work, a lot of people don't get to enjoy the outdoors because they have to work so much. Well, I hope that if you are able to and you are in a safe area, that you can get outside and get away from everything. I'm very fortunate here in upstate New York.
He's a fortunate motherfucker.
You know, my family has, you know, over 100 acres or so.
Or so.
You know, just incredibly fortunate. I can't express how grateful I am for them and, you know, for this opportunity to use the resources that are here to build something that, you know, there'll be memories from this, obviously.
Memories.
And
people trying to get out of the ground. That he
some good memories, because God knows there's a lot of bad memories.
Johnny,
so
get out of the way.
Try to do our part out here and do what we can to stay sane.
Hey,
and ride this thing out.
The wind
best
is
that
crazy.
we can.
He's fucking A. He's got it right in the fucking wind.
Stuff to build on in the future.
Here. Whoever he's got with him is blowing in the mic on the phone, on the camera.
Hopefully nothing like this will ever sneak up on us again. If it does, I'm going to be out here.
Looks like he's building a fucking
Far
tour.
away from all this bullshit.
Bury some people out there or what?
You're welcome. If you're not my friend, you'll find out quickly.
Johnny.
So, I'm going to get back to it. I'll shoot little pictures and some stuff like that. And maybe put together a little video montage later or something.
Oh, boy. Here he is. Director Camp.
Going on here, the old captain's log. All
log.
Right.
We got the log.
Talk to you all later. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Continue to rock and roll. Never give up. Never surrender.
Now he's a fucking speechwriter.
Let's be victorious in this. See you guys later.
Bye, John. Jesus.
Hey, those are always Johnny's always got some inspiring words.
Oh
man.
yeah, just fucking signed us off like he won an award and he was thanking people. I'd like to thank my mom and dad, Jesus up above, my cousin Jacob, Kubota, whoever brought the gravel. Fucking, the wind is still blowing. It's blowing in my ear. Oh boy.
Oh
yeah.
God. That's funny shit.
Let's give old Peckerwood. Try
call him.
Call him up. No, call
Try Warner?
the animal whatever he is.
Specialist.
Yeah. Animal doctor. Fucking Gusto. It's the mAng and Neads show.
Yeah.
Sonic Garden Radio.
20 minutes in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're pushing.
Yeah, we're pushing. Like we said, we're gonna do a little short one.
I had a little John Camp cameo. Yeah. He's award winning, so he'll be back. He's running out of video. He needs to send more videos. You gotta tell him. We need more for the show, John. Have you seen any good news, Ange? Any good topics? Any more
well,
Kool-Aid-Daz?
Well, I guess just to talk about what like Johnny was saying, what
was he saying?
We are fortunate. Like obviously we've been able to come here. Like there are people out there that are they're stuck in like a home or a apartment building, or like it's another fortunate thing where we're like, oh, we're lucky that we live out in this rural area where we do, because if we were in a major city, we would be like locked into our apartment. And then every time you even, like even the idea of masks, like the big deal with it is it's like, why is everybody all, crazy about mask, or even saying the thing like it prevents your breathing and all that? Yeah, if you're wearing a mask all
you're
the
trying
time,
to run a marathon.
But like us right here, why would I be wearing a mask in my like zone? I guess is what it is.
Zony.
Unless there's something. So if nobody else is here and I'm not contaminating anybody else's like desk, or area,
just in there breathing in your room.
So it's like almost like people, unless you're like somebody that, I can see like workers in the all the grocery stores now or the gas stations, everybody's wearing a mask for their full 8-hour shift, and that sucks, I imagine. But or 10 out, whatever their shift is. But like the rest of us that are, quarantining, it's not like I'm sitting home with a mask on.
Oh.
Or
you're not?
No.
Oh.
Shut the fuck up. Neither are you.
No way.
So,
yeah. I was out mowing today without a mask on.
No, so like again, why would that matter? Why would it matter if you were mowing? Like, you probably want a mask for mowing because you get a lot of pollen in the air and grass, and maybe something shoots up, little twig pops you in the face.
Old Twiggy. I have my glasses on.
I have
what do you have?
Dude, I was weed whacking, right, in shorts once.
The master whacker himself.
Right? So weed whacking in
shorts.
What
do they call you? What was it? Willie? Something Willie?
Willie Whacker.
Oh.
Willie Whack Off.
Willie Whack Off. Oh, boy.
So,
Willie Whack Off.
But,
Or won't he?
So I'm weed whacking, right? So you're like, you know
in your shorts.
It's not smart.
In your shorts, sandals too.
I think I was wearing shoes or like some Keens.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You're like
boots.
You're like a shoes and shorts guy. Go ahead.
As opposed to shoes and no shorts.
Yeah.
All right. So
shit.
No, but I was weed whacking, and I got, of course, regretted it because all of a sudden I got hit in the leg with something.
Right in the balls.
No, just like the lower shin.
Oh, your little leggy.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that hurt. But guess what? It never went away.
Bone bruise, Ange.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't hurt.
What do you mean?
But it's
your bone don't hurt?
No, the skin. It's almost like it penetrated enough in there to be like something that like stayed in there, then it like kind of got some scar tissue built up.
Pan.
And it's just this weird thing, and that's
still
totally
hurts to this day.
Well, like it like it's there. It like is it looks like almost like a permanent scab. It's been there for like 10 years.
Oh.
It's not like a scab, not like that. It's more like it's
maybe get that checked out.
I'll show you.
Maybe you should get it checked out.
It looks more like it would be like it's I don't know. It's nothing really.
Oh. Well, you brought it up. Something's going on down there in your leg. Infection? Not
if it was, it would be like a long term, like
right.
going on 10 years of like
10-year infection,
my leg.
taking over your leg. They're gonna call you old peg leg here soon. You'll be a pirate.
Well, I do worry about that a little bit because I do have blood flow pressure issues in that leg. Like it's
from
weird.
crashing.
Yeah, well, that is my the leg that got smashed up really bad.
Motherfucker.
But it's more like I have the varicose veins.
Oh,
a bunch of
Jesus.
Not like real bad, but there's dead veins in there for sure. So I think but man, I'm so
old dead veins.
I'm like kind of real lazy about the hospital. Like even when I finally did go and they did an ultrasound.
Yeah.
And then they said, okay, have a meet. Here's
Were you pregnant?
They're like to a appointment in Cooperstown, and they're like, but it was like 3 months out. And
and you never made it.
Yeah, I forgot, and then then I remembered, and then I couldn't remember when, but I didn't really go through the process to figure it out. So, hey, I guess I'm lucky.
Did you try to call old Dick Trickle? Yeah, you're very lucky.
No, I didn't. I didn't call Dick Trickle. No, you called him earlier. He knows.
No, he don't know. He might not even seen the phone ring. He might have been. I don't know what he might have been doing.
Yeah. All right, let me get him.
I'm not sick like he is.
Let me get him. Let me get him.
I don't need help yet. But he's a different egg. He might be busy playing in the rain. I mean, what could he really be doing, though? It's past dinner time.
Well, now it's like...
oh, yeah, we're going to end the show
it's
anyways.
Like reading and all that stuff, so it doesn't really matter.
We're going to end the show anyways.
Yeah, we're going to end the show in a few minutes.
We're going to play a song, yeah.
You ready?
What, to play a song?
Else? Did you have anything else you wanted to add today, Josh?
No,
61, day 61.
I think, since we're going down the dark road, 129,000 people have died today. On a serious note. What?
From the corona?
No, just deaths.
129,000 people died today.
Yeah.
How many people were born?
How many people were born today?
Yeah.
You want to know?
Well, I mean, hey.
307,241 babies were born today.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I know I said this a couple weeks ago, but 52 million births this year and 21,874,000 deaths this year so far. So we're still gaining on the pop. Yeah. We net population growth today is 178,342. So, if you were wondering about shit like that, there you have it.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I do not know any more things today, really.
Oh my God, we're out of info.
Well,
unbelievable. After 61 days, we have nothing more to talk about.
I did some mowing today all day.
Oh yeah, I know. You said that, and you got some sun. That's good. Your arms too, man. You got that farmer tan going with the cutoff where your sleeves were.
Got the farmer tan?
Yeah, hold it up, man. You can see the two different colors.
What, on my arm?
Yeah, when it gets to your.
Oh.
You know how they call that? Where it changes. Yeah, dude. Significant right there. See?
Right.
See, that's not just red camera. That's
right. That's a little chicken wing right there.
Got some legitimate sun.
Yeah. Burnt like a fucking douchebag. I am. Out there. Didn't
like
put my sun.
Smart.
Like a not smart human.
You're like, I need some sun.
Well, I didn't get near no motherfucker, so. So, yeah.
I'm going to need me some sun.
I'm going to need me some sun. Kills it. Direct sunlight. I was out there mooning the sun. Oh, we're going to play that one again?
That's what I'm going to close with the real video.
Oh.
We talked through
you
the
get
other part.
Incoming and outgoing. So here you goes.
yeah, everybody, anybody that hasn't subscribed to our channel, we run this thing every day. Today's just a little short update.
61 days in the...
Didn't get into too many.
No, we didn't get
too deep today, but that's okay.
Not
we'll
too
be
deep.
Here tomorrow.
We will make it.
And you can always go back and catch up on any of the old episodes.
Right.
And
come back for the lay down piss.
That one might end up being one of the greatest stories ever. On the Mang and Neads show.
On the Mang and Neads show.
All right, so
nobody did anything fucked up today?
As far as what you mean?
I don't know. They were going after Obama again yesterday. Somebody was.
Who was?
Trump's people or somebody. And I seen old Kay Lee was running her mouth, and then Trump got right up on the mic. Yeah.
He stepped to her side. He was like, "I do not need you to speak for me."
No,
anymore.
I think he wanted to, but maybe she was done. She wasn't talking to the main. I don't know, but I saw her on the camera. Old spitting one. Spitting it.
All right, closeout song. This is the end of our show.
We have a song,
Day
folks.
61.
1661.
It's from
Mang and Neads.
A few days ago recorded.
He's out with the lion.
Sessions.
He was out there with the lion.
But he didn't catch this one. So it's called
Turn It Up. Thanks for having us. Mang and Neads. Sonic Garden Radio.
Don't leave me dry.